A lot of people have this notion that the Quran is just a book. So they go their whole lives without ever reading it. If you lived in a country and say there was like a government change in the country and the new president is going to give a speech all about the things that he's going to implement in the country, all the new rules that are changing, all the people that are getting appointed, basically the state of the country for the next 5 years or 10 years or whatever, all of his plans. You live in this country. So are you going to be like, no, it's just a speech, I'm not going to listen to that, it doesn't involve me? That would be foolish behavior. Same exact way, the Quran is God's word, not just any book. So many people wonder what happens after we die. So somebody asked on Threads, if you tell me what happens after we die, I will give you $1 million. Sis, read the Quran. Because the Quran tells us what happens to us after we die. So the Quran is not just a book. It's not just some random book. If you don't read Pride and Prejudice your whole life, you're fine. That's just a book that you can avoid reading. If you don't read some self-help book, that's fine. You can live your best life and not ever read that book. It's fine. The Quran is not just a book. Every single human being on the planet needs to read it cover to cover at least once. English translation, just to be aware of what will happen to us. At least if you read it, then you will know, do I want to go ahead with this or not? But if you don't read it at all, what are you going to go to God and say on the day of judgment? Because every single human being will experience the day of judgment. Are you going to look at him and be like, I'm sorry, I never read that book. I thought it was just a book. I never bothered to read it. What are you going to say? When the veil has been lifted on the day of judgment and we are all aware of the truth, what are you going to tell God? You're going to sound like a fool if you tell him that you thought it was just a book. I did my master's, I did my PhD, I did my bachelor's, I did all of these things. I went in search of all of the knowledge in the world, but I could not read your word. It was just a book. I don't care about that. It doesn't apply to me. What sort of a mentality is, I will get there and think about it? You want to get to the day of judgment and then figure out what you're going to do? It's going to be too late then. Read the book. Read the book now, so that you don't have to suffer later. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to get that out because I hear people saying it's just a book and I'm like, what do you mean it's just a book? It's God's word.